Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your entrepreneurship tutor, Professor Henry Wisa, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Today I'm posing this question. Is the university in Kenya preparing for the competency-based curriculum? Now, here are some facts. Wednesday, February 16, 2022. Who? Senior Writer National Media Group. What? About 500,000 of the 1.4 million learners in grade 5 will not complete senior second school studies in 2028. 35% of Kenyan second school students will not complete upper secondary education by 2030. Whose authority? The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, the UNESCO report. The source? Yes. These are not my words. Hide into physical research, but this is desk research, and that is its source. You can interrogate it there. Yes. Free primary plus subsidized secondary education, yes. But about 1.8 million Kenyan children aged 6 to 18 have either dropped out of school or never been in school. Yes, see, a school-going child or school-going children seen pushing vegetables on a bicycle. Photo by Peter Ocheng of the Standard. Source, that source. I'm not making up this. I'm not doing stories. So these are some facts. And therefore, when we look at these facts and we imagine dropouts minus relevant competencies, that is indeed a recipe for vices. So, if you asked me, CBC is a move in the right direction of Kenya. Yes, anybody properly in education will know what Bloom's taxonomy is. 1956, Benjamin Bloom comes up with this model, the learning domains. There they are, the 3 learning domains. First is the cognitive domain. It gives knowledge. It gives information. So you come out knowing it, knowing what you went to school for. The second domain, the affective domain, attitude. It gives determination. So, feeling it. I want to do it. The feeling, the determination comes up. That is the second domain or the other domain of learning. And then the third domain, the psychomotor, the skills. Now that's the technique. I know how to do it. So those are the 3 basic learning domains. 1956-54, Benjamin Bloom. But now look, there are intersections. Let's look. Look at that. That means somebody has attitude and skills, but there's no knowledge. So, minus knowledge, you'll do anything badly. You have the skills, you have the attitude, but you don't know. So, it will be badly done. How about you have the knowledge, you have the skills, but you have no attitude? Oh, minus attitude, you not even do it. We have seen it. You have the skills to do self-employment. You know what self-employment is, but you don't do it. You go on tamaking. Then, no skills. You have the knowledge, you have the attitude. So, minor skills, but with attitude and knowledge, really, you will struggle to perform. So, we are saying we have been giving knowledge, attitude, skills. In some cases, only two of them, and therefore no perfection. But the intersection of all the three is now what we call competence. You will now perform, or they will perform efficiently, because you have the attitude, you have the skills, you have the knowledge, you know it, you know how to do it, and you are determined to do it. And those are the competences now that we are giving our children under CBC. But of course, the elephant in the room, the question, are our children being given the right competencies? Well, watch this space. I'll come back with that in my next slide, or rather, my next video. So watch it. Don't go away. The question is the university preparing itself well to receive the CBC graduates? Just wondering. Yes. Look, 450 BC, Confucius says, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. It is like he's saying, give me the competences and I'll none understand. But just let me hear. Give me the lecture, I'll forget. Show me. Demonstrate for me, I may remember. But let me do it, I will understand. And of course then, 1946, American educator Edgar Dale developed what we call the cone of learning, which is closely related to the Confucian, I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I don't understand. There it is. His research showed that 2 weeks after being in class or at school, learners remember only 10% of what they read. So you gave your students readings, go and read in the library, etc. They'll remember only 10%. He says, we remember 20% of what we hear. So you stand in front of the students and lecture, give a 3 hours lecture, only 20% is remembered of what they had. 30% of what we see, we remember 30% of what we see. So instead of just a lecture, maybe use a PowerPoint, use a demonstration, go out in the field and see field visits. 30% will be retained, but 50% of what we hear and see. So when you teach, again, as I said, with the demonstrations, with PowerPoints, you increase the level of retention of the knowledge achieved. 70% of what we write about others, 80% of what we experience personally, and 90% of what we teach others. So at the university, what are we mainly doing? Are we increasing the retention? Are we giving any competencies? Well, this kind of learning has been divided in two key parts. Passive learning, from middle up, passive learning. Middle down, active learning. That means, passive learning means it's the teacher standing in front of the class and lecturing and talking. The students are there just to receive it. But active learning is involving the students. At the university, and I've been at the university for the last more than 30 years, we mainly give readings at every coursework, or rather course outline, say readings. We lecture for 3 hours. Tutorials are a rarity. They used to be there, they are no longer there. Not many of us can even imagine using a PowerPoint. So currently it is passive, mainly passive learning. Active learning may be there in some units, medicine, chemistry, the labs and all that. Now, yes, we try. There is e-learning has come, e-learning modules, adaptive pre-assessments, mobile learning. These are the I hear, I forget. Go in the middle, instructor-led training, sometimes teaching assistant support. Now they almost like participatory. Then we also have labs, exercises, capstone projects, community. These are approaches that help retain knowledge a little more. How much of it are we doing at the university? Let's be honest. Are we not doing more of the giving readings, giving lectures, sometimes using our PowerPoints and all that? And when we come to test, look, many questions, examinations that I've seen are based on the cognitive domain. Define, list, describe, explain, recall questions. Our students try to recall what is learned in class, what to define concepts. Sometimes we also say demonstrate, apply, practice. And funny, when we say apply, we're applying theories in a sitting written exam, imagining, still using the cognitive domain, but kind of thinking we're testing the affective. Analyze, define again, create, evaluate. What are we analyzing? Give a text, a case study. Many of those case studies that we use are dead case studies that were used a long time ago, were written a long time ago. Fresh case studies are a reality. Yes, that is true of the university. So, are we giving competencies? Are we prepared to get our students to do competence, particularly the incoming CBC? So I'm saying, do we not need retooling to avoid the 844 unpreparedness? Yes, why am I saying that? Yes, 844, I remember. I was at Kenyatta University. We sat on our laurels. And when we received the first 4, we had been teaching 3 years for a degree. Then all of a sudden, we get the ones that are going for 4 years coming in. Very unprepared, curriculum not redesigned to fit the incoming load that is coming after Form 4. Our curriculum was still that of after Form 6? Yes, and indeed, we complained that 844 is producing unteachables, yet when we received them, there was no retooling of now how to adapt to the new lot. Should we again wait? Should we again repeat the mistake of 844? That is my question. And my question is, are we at the university getting prepared? Yes. No. Chairmen of committees that are investigating CBC, university professors. But we're focusing on the primary and secondary. We are not focusing a lot on the university. But of course, it is not late. My question remains, self-searching, soul-searching. Are we at the university putting in effort, preparing for the incoming CBC? Good. Have a competency-based day, won't you? Please like it, comment, share, describe, and thank you for watching.